Oh, you're watching Arise America. Welcome back. Iran's Revolutionary Guards Chief Hussein Salami has threatened a decisive response to any attack after U.S. President Donald Trump ordered a wave of airstrikes against Yemen's Houthi rebels and warned Tehran to stop backing it.
Iran will not wage war, but if anyone threatens, it will give appropriate, decisive and conclusive responses. Iran will not wage war, but if anyone threatens, it will give appropriate, decisive and conclusive responses.
We have Morkoc, a Republican spokesman, joining us from California to discuss the latest U.S. strike on Houthis that is, in Yemen there. First of all, let's take you as a Republican on the issue of deportation, since we spoke with a Democrat earlier. The move by Trump violates a court order while stopping the deportation law of 1798. Critics have called it a violation of human rights and said that Trump is acting above the law. What's your take on this, briefly?
Well, a court order by a judge who doesn't have the right to make that order, that judge is probably going to find himself aiding and abetting. This comes down to the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, actually Alien and Sedition. And the fact of the matter is that this gang has been declared a terrorist organization. They are not American citizens. They have no right to any trial whatsoever. And they are being deported to our great new ally in El Salvador, who will put these monsters in 24/7 lockup. We have opened 30,000 beds in Guantanamo Bay, and we intend to take every single one of these terrorists out of our country. They have no right to be here. They are not American citizens. It does not abrogate any laws whatsoever, and it is within the purview of the U.S. President and the U.S. State Department to remove enemies of the state, which these barbaric terrorists are. And so we're very proud of this. We're very excited to see it continue. We want to ratchet it up, and we want to get every single one of these scumbags out of our country.
Now let's be careful with the use of language now. But here's the thing, when you say...
Ma'am, they're terrorists. They've been deemed terrorists by the U.S. State Department. So these are terrorists, and terrorists are bad people, and they're evil people, and they are scumbags, absolutely.
Okay then, Errol.
That is absolute fact. Terrorists who kill Americans are scumbags.
Let's move to the Yemen situation. Is the U.S. displaying double standards in attacking the Houthis despite Trump's stance against wars and killings?
We're very much against wars, especially wars that involve intervention. I think the idea is to be a lamb when it comes to intervention and to be a hawk when it comes to destroying the enemies of free trade. The Houthis have effectively closed that strait. There have been no ships with an American flag that can go through there. Joe Biden effectively surrendered the U.S. Navy and said, okay, we're not going to go in there. And that's just not how things are going to happen. By reopening this waterway, I want your listeners to understand, it's not even helping the U.S. economy. We're not the top 5 users of that waterway. We just guarantee the passage of goods, whether it be for Chinese or Germans who will benefit the most from this. And the Houthis have been shooting rockets and missiles at our ships. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in this modern age. There is not going to be a negotiation with people like this. We will send the full force of the U.S. Navy, and we will kill you, or you will stop shooting rockets at the U.S. Navy. Full stop. There's no debate. We're not going to go into war whatsoever. We're not going to send troops. We're going to obliterate you from the sky and from the seas. And if you want to escalate it, and if Iran wants to escalate it, we can escalate. We have much more in our arsenal than they do. They have no cards to play. And this is a new regime. This is a new world order. We took the gloves off. We're not here to be your friend. We're not here to ask you about your opinions. You are going to do as you are told. If you shoot weapons at our soldiers, we will come and we will kill you. That is the new American foreign policy. So if you don't want to die, I suggest to not shoot missiles at our Navy, and we'll have no problem.
Now, the Houthis Movement Political Bureau spokesperson says they are ready to march escalation for escalation. What would be the consequences? Aren't we tilting? We're trying to settle the Israel-Gaza war. We're trying to settle the Ukraine-Russia issue here. And then this one.
It would be a new front, a front that Joe Biden and the Europeans abandoned for the last 4 years, to the point that the Houthis control one of the major waterways in world shipping commerce. That's not going to be acceptable. Iran talks a tough game, but they really have nothing. The only reason why, for example, the Ayatollah and his friends are alive is because the Americans have told the Israelis not to kill them. They have no cards, they have no weapons, and they've been fighting against a toothless U.S. administration. We're not going to send in 100,000 soldiers. We're not going to send in regime change. We are going to literally destroy these people if they dare to shoot weapons at our bases and at our soldiers, the brave men and women who are fighting to protect all of us, by the way, all of our trade, the trade in Nigeria, the trade in China, the trade in South America, protected by the U.S. guarantee of open waters. These people are abrogating that guarantee, putting world food stores at risk, putting the situation that we have in Ukraine, especially, has created commodity prices catastrophe. Closing down shipping lanes only exacerbates that. So it's unfortunate that a new front has to be opened, but while we shut down these long-term wars, there's absolutely going to be spot treatment for declared enemies of the United States of America, which these people have come out proudly called for the destruction of America, the destruction of our ideology. Congratulations, you're about to find out what that looks like when we destroy you in your home. Because we're not here to play games with you. We're not here to discuss things, hear your side of things. We know what's right. What's right is not taking hostages and not being a terrorist organization. What's wrong is everything you stand for. So now, if you want to escalate that, you will be wiped off the face of the map. Full story. We're not here to play games. We're not here to discuss any further with terrorists.
Now, the Houthis also accuse the U.S. of war crimes due to the attacks, and well, due to expected the ICC, that's the ICC Act. What do you make of this? I mean, the accusation against the U.S. and what ICC Act says.
I would say it's a shame that the ICC doesn't realize or recognize when terrorists hide behind the skirts of women and children. So if you are going to conduct terrorist organizations from behind orphanages and in front of women's and have your, you catch these terrorists, they're hiding in the back of a room with their women in front of them and children in front of them. Yeah, it's collateral damage caused by them. They're the ones who put their people in this harm. You shoot a rocket missile at a U.S. Navy ship full of my friends, young people who are there trying to help the world, and expect to have a missile come right back to you. And if you think that you can hide behind women and children and expect that missile not to come and find you, you'd be sadly mistaken. And this is a new world order. There is no sympathy for terrorists. And if you want to hide behind the skirts of innocent people, then you are the one who is responsible for getting those innocent people killed. Just like Hamas is responsible for what happened to all those poor innocent Palestinians for what they did on October 7th.
Strong words, Errol. Now, the U.S. Pete Hegseth has promised the Houthis a ceasefire once they stop attacking the ships. What do you make of this?
I think that's great. That's exactly what I've been talking about, and that's all we want. We're not here to have any sort of regime change or deep interest in what goes on in Yemen. You simply do not get to control international shipping lanes and reduce an American ship, for example, has to take 25% more time now to go around this point of conflict. So you stop shooting missiles at our ships, we stop bombing you. Detente. Easy. We're not here to escalate. We obviously have more weapons, and we can shoot more of them. And I think this was phase zero assessment for them. Do they really want to get into a war of escalation with Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and people like me who have my mentality that is not going to be friendly to them? No, they're going to sue for peace. They're going to have to find peace, and their master in Tehran is going to have to tell them to calm down because it's a very tenuous situation there. And if Iran is unable to at least keep its sphere of influence calm, then they're going to collapse from the inside, which we're happy to see also. But I'm really happy to see Pete Hegseth looking for peace, and the only peace we want is them to stop shooting at us, and we will stop shooting at them.
Thank you so much, Errol Morkoc, for joining us all the way from California. Errol, the Republican spokesman, you're watching Rise America.